Alright, welcome back everybody. Today I'm going to show you how to mount your fish finder transducer, which is this little guy right here, inside of your kayak, and that way you don't have it exposed on the outside. What we're going to use today to do that is simply this auto marine sealant. It's basically RTV silicone. You can pick it up for a couple bucks at the auto parts store or at Home Depot, Lowe's, any kind of place like that, hardware store. But basically, find a place where you want to mount your the head unit. I have this little Humminbird Piranha Max 170 that I picked up a couple of years back, and now I have mounted it right here. After some design changes and stuff, I kind of want to go back to the original, which was the transducer mounted inside. You can see here it's pretty loose right now. What we're going to do is we're actually going to mount it right there where you can see the dirty mark. Oh, excuse me. The dirty mark inside of the kayak. Right there, which is basically where I've taken sandpaper and just kind of scuffed it up so it'd give a good texture for the silicone to stick to. So first things first, we want to make sure that that spot is very clean and free of any debris, which will, could show up through the transducer. So I'm going to take just a dry rag, clean that off. Alright, just make sure it's nice and free of any debris. Right, there we go. So I've got it all clean now. Second is, you want to go ahead and take your transducer and run the lines. You can see the line goes up. Basically, it runs all the way up to the bottom right there of my fish finder. So next step is very simple. You're going to take your RV silicone. I've already cut the top off the tip there, punctured a hole in the actual part right here. We're going to squeeze a huge blob onto that right there. Then once it's on there, you want to try to keep as many of the air bubbles out of it. And then we're going to just basically push the transducer down inside of the RV silicone, okay? For this, I'm going to need both hands, so unfortunately I got to put the camera down for a second, but I'll show you what it's like once I finish this step. Alright, welcome back everybody. I've got the RV silicone blob made. It measures about 2 inches across, about 3 inches long. Stands only about a 1/4 inch tall. I've tried to do my best to keep any air bubbles out of it there. Reason I did it that size is because the transducer is right at about 3 inches long and about 2 inches wide. Okay, obviously the point is going to be towards the front of the boat, just like this right here. When we mount it, I'm going to demonstrate on the outside of the kayak here. What we're going to do is we're actually going to push the bottom end first, all the way down as far as we can, and then we're just going to slowly lean it forward and squeeze out all that we can from underneath it. It'll obviously pull up on the outside of it. That's a good thing. We want to make sure it's a nice tight bond with the bottom of the kayak, doesn't have any air bubbles in between it. So then we're just going to push and hold it on there for just a couple seconds, make sure it's nice and tight, and then of course release the hold and let it dry. It takes about 24 hours to dry. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'll show you an after how we do that, okay? Alright, you can see now that I've mounted my transducer inside of the silicone there, and stuck the back end first, leaned it forward to make sure that it was pressed in there nice and tight. You can see how the silicone is raising up on both sides, and I took my finger and just kind of wiped the silicone along the side of it just to make sure that it was a nice firm bond there. One little tip there, when you're pushing it down into it, make sure you gently turn it left to right just slightly, just to help work out any air bubbles that may be underneath it. And that is how you mount your transducer to the bottom of your kayak and inside, so you don't have to ever worry about it getting hit or anything like that. One thing I will caution you, if you're out in the sun and your kayak gets pretty warm, it will not reflect the water temperature correctly. However, the depth will be right on. So that's how you do it, how you mount your fish finder transducer to the bottom of your kayak. Thanks for watching, everybody.